What's up everybody, Petrus Lembas here, and in this video I'll be talking about my thoughts on the AJ versus Usyk match. So for me, I wasn't even surprised that AJ lost. I even had a feeling that AJ would lose this match due to the fact that, Saturday, the one that I support, they didn't even win. For example, was the team that I support, Chelsea, played against Man City, and they didn't win. They lost by 1 goal. Near the end of the match, where I watched the F1 qualifying on Saturday, Hamilton didn't come first; he came fourth. So that Saturday for me, watching sports wasn't going well, and I had a prediction that, as I pointed out a few seconds ago, that I have a feeling that Joshua was going to lose the his belt again on that day, and I was completely spot on the fact that he was going to lose. And then in the match, it was very very clear that Usyk has the hunger and intention to win the match, and right from round one, we can clearly see with his punches that connected very very well that you know Usyk is going to be very difficult to beat for AJ. And then as the we go from round one to round six, it was much more evident, and even I put it as well in my Twitter feed at midpoint, that if Joshua doesn't knock out Usyk, there's no way he's going to be able to retain his belts. And I was right as well. That because AJ didn't knock out Usyk, that Usyk won the belt. Perhaps at the same time, there is a possibility that Usyk was aware that AJ wasn't going to knock him out, because one of the things that, not just only me, but I'm certain one time when I was watching AJ fighting boxing with my friends, a few of my friends, um, AJ wasn't really determined to try to knock out his opponent, and I don't know why. It just really is very annoying that AJ has this hesitant nature to not knock out his opponents, when his records, prior to what, let's say Andy Ruiz, he was completely knocking out his opponents, and it didn't even look like as if AJ was going to knock out Usyk at all last night, because today I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon. That yeah, it never looked like as if he's going to knock Usyk out, and as a result, I already have confirmation, self confirmation, without any media sources or even the match itself. The match is not finished yet. That at round six, I was certain that Usyk is going to take the belts, and I was right. So it wasn't a surprise for Anthony Joshua to lose his belts again. And of course, what happens next is the rematch, which is possible unless Joshua becomes a coward and not willing to try to win the belts back in a rematch, which wouldn't be a surprise because, you know, there is a potential that Joshua could feel like he's not going to win against Usyk, because Usyk, his speed was very, very amazing, and a lot of times it felt like as if it was one sided, and that the times where AJ connected very well in terms of punching Usyk on target on his face were times where perhaps Usyk was taking a breather and when he was also taking a break. Hence why, it was controlled, and you can clearly see also from the post fight interview that that Usyk had, that he made it very, very clear that what AJ did, the way how AJ performed, it was completely exactly what Usyk expected, and his camp also expected. So AJ essentially played in Usyk's hands, and that's why AJ completely lost. You know, AJ at the same time also was very lucky to not be knocked out, particularly in the end. Where it looked like, had it been an extra minute of the match, I'm certain that AJ would have been knocked out. But it is what it is, and you have to accept that, AJ losing again. And what disappoints me isn't about AJ losing again. It's more of the fact that we won't be able to see uh, an all British, um, what do you call it? A unification fight between Joshua and Fury. So it's really a huge pity. And because of the rematch clause which can be activated, there's every certainty that that unification fight could be, you have to wait even longer than, let's say, this year, or even maybe perhaps next year. You probably may have to wait maybe until 2023 to see that unification fight, unless something happens that can, make it happen possible next year. But it remains to be seen still on how it's going to go. But yeah, Usyk definitely deserved to win the match, the fight, because he controlled it. He was very dominant, and he deserved to take those belts. And yeah, try to aim for unification, which obviously we'll see first from Fury versus Wilder, isn't it? So yeah, and that's my thoughts on the boxing of the AJ versus Usyk fight, where AJ lost, deservingly lost. And before I finish, as always, make sure to like the video if you like the video, and also to subscribe, because for every one of you that subscribes, it will help and grow my channel to how it can really be, and that will mean a lot to me. So if you have, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.